For every 1,000 steps you take, your testosterone climbs by 7 nanograms per deciliter, but there is a massive hidden catch. Most people are walking wrong for their hormones. They stroll, they wander, and they get absolutely zero biological benefit. By the time we finish today, you won't just understand why walking is the ultimate hormonal lever. You'll see the exact biological mechanism that protects your manhood. I'm going to break down the 7-point rule from a landmark 2021 medical study that proves every step counts. I'll show you how a simple daily walk acts as a chemical kill switch for the estrogen currently circulating in your body. And most importantly, I'm going to show you exactly how to weave this into your life so that your body has no choice but to start building again. Or we look at why this works. We have to look at what happens when the movement stops. Consider a group of healthy, active young men, guys in their absolute prime. Researchers once put these men into a step count study where they were forced to reduce their daily activity. They didn't change their diet. They didn't deprive them of sleep. They simply told them, stop moving. They capped their steps at roughly 1,500 a day, essentially mimicking the lifestyle of the average modern office worker who goes from the bed to the car to the desk. The results were terrifying. In just 2 weeks, these healthy men saw a massive drop in their insulin sensitivity. Their bodies started storing fat at an accelerated rate. But the most shocking part? Their testosterone levels plummeted. Their bodies, sensing the lack of movement, essentially decided that reproductive mode was no longer necessary for survival. They shifted into hibernation mode. Then, the researchers reversed it. They told the men to start walking again, just walking. No heavy squats, no sprinting, just normal daily movement. Within days, the metabolic markers began to flip. The testosterone levels started to climb back up toward their baseline. This study proved one undeniable fact. Your body views a sedentary lifestyle as a biological emergency. When you stop moving, your testosterone doesn't just dip, it gets suppressed. But that was just about what happens when you stop. The real aha moment came in 2021 when researchers released a bombshell study using data from the U.S. National Health and Nutrition Examination Survey. They looked at hundreds of men, tracking their exact step counts and their blood hormone levels. They didn't just find a link. They found a mathematical formula. They discovered that for every 1,000 additional steps a man took per day, his testosterone levels increased by 7 nanograms per deciliter. Let's do the math on that. If you are currently sedentary, taking only 4,000 steps a day, and you bump that up to 10,000 steps, that is a 6,000 step difference. That is a potential 42-point increase in your baseline testosterone just from walking. But here's the scary part of the data. When they looked at men taking fewer than 4,000 steps a day, the odds of those men having clinically low testosterone were sky high. When they compared them to men taking over 8,000 steps, the active men had a 90% lower risk of having low T. Simply moving your body removes 90% of the risk of crashing your hormones. To understand why such a simple act has such a drastic effect, we have to look at the cortisol seesaw. Think of your hormone system like a bank account with a very strict budget. Your body uses the same raw materials, specifically cholesterol, to make both testosterone and cortisol. It cannot make an unlimited amount of both. It has to choose. Imagine you're at work and your boss drops a massive deadline on your desk. Your heart rate climbs, your jaw clenches, and your body pumps out cortisol. In that moment, your body says, "We need to survive right now. We don't need to thrive or reproduce." It steals the raw materials meant for your testosterone and uses them to build stress hormones instead. This is known as the cortisol steal. Walking is the ultimate antidote to this theft. When you engage in steady, rhythmic walking, you induce a state in the brain called optic flow. As the world moves past your eyes in a predictable rhythm, the amygdala, the fear center of your brain, actually quiets down. Walking literally lowers the volume on your stress response. While high-intensity exercise like sprinting actually raises cortisol temporarily because it is a physical stressor, walking lowers it. By walking, you are telling your body, "We are safe. We are not under attack." When cortisol drops, you free up those raw materials and give your body the resources it needs to start producing testosterone again. However, the cortisol steal isn't the only enemy. We also have to talk about the physical structure of your body. specifically the fat around your midsection. Not all fat is created equal. The fat on your arms or legs is mostly just storage. But visceral fat, the hard fat that pushes your belly out, is different. Visceral fat is chemically active. It acts like a parasitic organ that produces an enzyme called aromatase. Imagine you are working hard to produce testosterone, pouring it into a bucket. Aromatase is a hole in the bottom of that bucket, but it's worse than that. It doesn't just let the testosterone leak out. It converts it. Aromatase turns your testosterone into estrogen. This is why men with significant belly fat often suffer from low libido and mood swings. Their own fat is actively robbing them of their manhood. This is where walking becomes your superior weapon. Your body burns fuel differently depending on how hard you are working. When you sprint or lift heavy weights, your body burns glycogen, sugar stored in the muscles. It's quick energy for explosive movement. But when you walk, you stay in the oxidative zone. This is the zone where your body becomes incredibly efficient at mobilizing and burning fat for fuel. By walking consistently, you are slowly starving the aromatase factory. You aren't just losing weight, you are removing the chemical weapon that is being used against you. But what about the food you eat? We've all experienced the food coma. You eat a big lunch and an hour later, you want to curl up under your desk. That is your blood sugar spiking and crashing. When your blood sugar is chronically high, your body has to pump out insulin to manage it. High insulin levels are a direct signal to the testes to lower testosterone production. It's a protective mechanism. The body thinks the metabolism is broken and decides it's a bad time to reproduce. Most men try to fix this with brutal, restrictive diets that they eventually quit. But walking offers a backdoor solution. Your leg muscles, your quads, hamstrings, and glutes are the largest muscles in your body. When you walk, these muscles contract thousands of times, acting like a giant sponge for blood sugar. They soak up glucose from your bloodstream without needing nearly as much insulin to do it. Imagine you've just finished a large dinner. Instead of sitting on the couch to watch TV, you step outside for just 10 minutes. By doing this, you blunt the blood sugar spike and prevent that massive release of insulin. By keeping your insulin levels low and stable, you signal to your body that your metabolic environment is healthy, which acts as a green light for testosterone production. Beyond the chemistry, testosterone isn't just a chemical, it's a feeling. It's linked to dopamine, the molecule of motivation and reward. When you sit around all day, you feel stagnant and your brain produces less dopamine. This lethargy feeds into a loop of low testosterone. Movement breaks the loop. Biologists talk about the winner effect. When an animal patrols its territory, explores new environments, and moves with purpose, its testosterone rises. It is a biological reward for being active. Walking, specifically brisk, purposeful walking, mimics this patrolling behavior. It releases endorphins and dopamine, which improves your mood and creates a positive feedback loop. High testosterone makes you want to move, but the act of moving makes your body want to produce testosterone. By forcing yourself to walk, even when you don't feel like it, you are jump-starting the engine. Now, how do you actually turn this into a reality? You don't need a complicated training manual, but you do need to understand the 3 pillars of a testosterone walk. First, let's talk about the pace. A casual stroll is great for your mental health, but for your hormones, you need to pick it up. Imagine you're walking through a busy airport and you're slightly late for your flight. You aren't running, but you're moving with intention. You should be breathing harder than normal, but still able to speak in short sentences. This is the sweet spot that burns fat without spiking cortisol. Next, consider the timing. As we discussed with the sugar sponge effect, the most effective time to walk is right after you eat. Instead of one long, grueling walk in the morning, try to split it up 10 minutes after lunch, 15 minutes after dinner. This dosing strategy keeps your metabolism humming all day long and keeps your insulin levels in check. Finally, think about your environment. If you can, get outside. Sunlight is crucial because it triggers vitamin D production in the skin. Vitamin D isn't just a vitamin, it's a steroid precursor, a raw building block for testosterone. Walking on a treadmill in a dark basement is better than sitting on the couch, but walking outside in the sun is exponentially better. You get the movement, the stress reduction of optic flow, and the raw materials all in one go. The beauty of walking is that the barrier to entry is zero. You don't need expensive equipment. You don't need a gym membership, and you don't need to learn perfect form. You just need to stand up. If you're feeling the effects of low testosterone, the fatigue, the brain fog, the lack of drive, don't start by looking for a magic pill. Start by fixing the foundation. Your body was designed to move. When you stop moving, it starts shutting down. Walking is the signal that turns the lights back on. It clears the stress. It burns the fat that steals your hormones, and it stabilizes your blood sugar. It is the single most effective, natural way to create an environment where your testosterone can thrive. So here's the challenge. For the next 7 days, hit 8,000 steps. No excuses. Rain or shine, do it for a week. And then ask yourself how you feel. You won't just feel lighter, you will feel the engine finally turning over again. Start walking. Your body will do the rest.